Hey everyone, welcome to the show. Ever feel like the past is breathing down your neck? Like, it's not just history, but this living, pulsing thing.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what we're diving into today. Elizabeth A. Tucker's 2025 debut novel, The Pale Flesh of Wood.
Intriguing title.
Right? It's a family drama, but like layered secrets and stuff. Unraveling across generations. Hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss anything. Oh, and the Amazon link for the books in the description if you want to follow along.
Always a good idea. You know, it's interesting. Tucker set this in California.
Yeah. Earthquakes, wildfires, always on edge.
Exactly. That tension, it's like built into the landscape, mirrors what the characters go through.
Totally. Right from the start, we meet young Lila. There's this scene with her dad, Charles, hanging a tire swing.
Ah, childhood memories.
But it's from this huge oak tree, and Charles is like almost too happy, like you sense something darker underneath.
Foreshadowing, maybe.
For sure. And that oak, it's not just background, right?
No way. It's like a witness to everything, the family's joys, their tragedies. It even outlives some of them.
Whoa, hadn't thought of it like that.
Makes you think about resilience.
Big time. And those chapter titles like Fault Lines and Felling, Falling Free.
Ooh, I like those.
Me too. They hint at like cracks in the family. And then there's Lila's grandmother, Caroline, intense lady.
Sounds like it.
She has these encounters with Mattawamkeag Molly. It's a mythical creature. So we've got family drama, but also folklore.
Interesting blend. I'm curious, how's that myth used? Just spooky, or is there more to it?
Definitely more. Think about Caroline's generation. The pressures on women, the stuff they couldn't talk about.
Right.
This creature always lurking. It's like it embodies those unseen burdens she carries.
Wow. So it's like her internal struggles are taking this external, monstrous form.
Exactly. You almost feel sorry for her, even when she's being harsh with Lila. Then, boom, Charles commits suicide. In the oak tree.
Oh, wow. Devastating.
Completely shatters Lila's world. And Tucker doesn't shy away from the rawness of grief.
No, I bet not. The impact of suicide, how it ripples outward.
So powerful. And you start thinking, we all have those invisible scars.
Definitely.
And those scars, they shape how we interact with the world. Then, just when Lila thinks she's figuring things out, she finds a letter
Uh-oh.
addressed to her dead father. It reveals he had a son he never knew. A half-brother Lila never knew existed.
Wow. Secret family. That adds a whole new dimension. Suddenly, it's not just one family's story, but about the choices we make that have these ripple effects, and even across generations.
Right, it makes you question what family even means. Then there's this scene where Lila finds a doll, buried under the oak tree.
Symbolic.
Totally. It's worn, almost forgotten, but she cleans it and gives it back to her grandmother.
It's like she's trying to make a connection, bridge the gap between them after all the secrets, all the pain. Makes you wonder if understanding the past can actually heal the present.
I think so, yeah,
Powerful stuff.
for sure.
And then there's Caroline and her, well, her visions, I guess you could call them.
Visions?
Yeah, so she keeps seeing this figure in the oak tree, and well, it turns out it's her son Charles.
Whoa, so the tree, like, it's holding their brief too.
Right, and it's not just like she sees him, it's like this ghostly presence. And Tucker describes it as embodying all her guilt. Caroline's guilt, I mean,
Makes sense. She never really dealt with his death.
yeah, and so it ties back into everything we were talking about before, you know, with all the societal pressures on her.
Oh, yeah, and now she has to deal with her son's death too.
Exactly, and it just adds to that weight she carries around, you know.
Totally. The oak tree's like this symbol of everything they've been through.
For sure, good and bad.
Right, like almost a source of conflict too.
Oh, like how?
Oh, remember that chapter title, No Means Hold On Tighter Than Before?
Yeah,
That kind of foreshadows what happens between Lila and her mom.
Louise, right.
Yeah, so like Louise becomes even more controlling.
Because of the grief?
Yeah, and then Lila rebels, obviously.
It's like they both have these broken coping mechanisms.
Right, and holding on tighter just pushes them further apart.
Exactly. So sad.
It really is. But then Lila finds those old home movies.
Oh, yeah, the ones of her parents.
Yeah, and it's like she's trying to understand them better.
Like, see them as real people.
Yeah, not just these perfect parents or these ghosts from her past.
I love those kinds of scenes in books, you know?
Totally. Makes the characters feel so much more real.
And what's interesting about these home movies is they don't just show the happy times.
Oh, really?
No, they also show these little problems they were having, you know?
Like hints of what was to come.
Yeah. It's like you're watching history unfold, but you already know how it ends.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and it makes you think, like, could it have been different?
Ooh, good question.
Right. But there are no easy answers, are there?
Nope. Life is messy.
Totally. And then, surprise, Lila finds out about her mom and Al.
Al. Wait, who's Al?
Another man, Louise was seeing him.
Whoa, hold on. So this whole time she's been grieving Charles, but also seeing this other guy?
Apparently, yeah, it's like everything Lila thought she knew was a lie.
Oh man, that's rough.
Right. But it makes you think about change and resilience, which we talked about before.
Oh yeah, good point. It's like Louise is just trying to rebuild her life.
Maybe, but it still feels like a betrayal to Lila.
Definitely. Like another loss on top of everything else.
Totally. No wonder she takes off to Chicago.
Gets out of there.
Yep. College, fresh start, and all that.
Smart move, honestly. Get some space.
Yeah, and that's where she finds out about the half-brother.
Oh, right. The letter.
Yep. Imagine getting that news out of the blue.
Crazy. Changes the whole idea of family.
Right. And you'd think it would be a bad thing, but it's not presented like that.
More like a twist.
Yeah. It challenges what Lila thought about her dad, but it's not all bad.
Like now she has this whole other side of her family.
Exactly. And remember how Lila wanted to connect with her grandmother through the doll?
Yeah.
It's like she has that same urge now, even with this brother she's never met.
That need to know where we come from.
Totally. Like this missing piece of the puzzle.
And so what happens? Does she try to find him?
Well, she does some digging, but remember her uncle asked her to keep it a secret.
Oh, right. What a dilemma.
Totally. And then, on top of everything else, she finds out about another secret.
Another one. Come on, this family.
I know, right? But this one's about Caroline. Turned out she had a love affair.
No way. With who?
Some guy named Eduardo.
Wow, really? Caroline?
Yep, secret love letters and everything.
That's crazy. Like, it makes you see her differently.
Right. She was always so strict, so closed off.
Totally. But this shows a whole different side to her.
And it makes you wonder, like, how much did her past shape how she treated Lila?
Oh, interesting. Maybe she was trying to protect Lila from the same pain.
Yeah, it's like this chain reaction,
Generational trauma.
Yeah, and it's all connected. The choices we make, the secrets we keep, it all affects someone.
Powerful stuff.
It really is. And just as Lila's processing all this, she gets a call.
Oh.
Caroline's not doing well.
Oh no, is she?
Yeah, her health is failing. It's like the past and present are crashing together.
Forces her to deal with everything.
Totally. Lila has to choose anger and resentment or forgiveness.
Tough choice. Especially when someone's at the end of their life. It's like she has to decide what's more important, holding out the hurt or letting go.
Right. And it's in that nursing home that's where things really come full circle.
How so?
Well, when Lila gets there, Caroline's like delirious.
Oh no.
Yeah, she's talking about Matawanki Kamali.
The creature.
Yeah, it's like all her fears, all those anxieties from her past, they're coming back.
Because she's facing death.
Maybe, yeah. It's powerful though, right? How our minds work like that.
Totally. We might not always understand it, but it's how we process things.
Trauma, grief, all of it.
Exactly. So what does Lila do?
Well, she could have just like dismissed it all, right? Said Caroline was rambling.
But she didn't.
No, she actually leans into it. Starts telling Caroline a story.
What kind of story?
About courage, about strength. Like she's trying to soothe Caroline's fears.
Wow, that's amazing.
Right. And it's such a shift for Lila, too.
Because she's been so angry with Caroline.
Exactly. But in this moment, she chooses empathy. She meets Caroline where she is.
In that place of fear and imagination.
Yeah. And it's beautiful, honestly. Because as Caroline slips away, she's peaceful.
They find that connection.
They do. It's quiet, but it's there. And it feels like closure for both of them.
And that feeling of closure, it doesn't stop there, does it?
No, you're right. Remember how Lila was struggling with whether to reach out to her half-brother?
Yeah, tough situation.
Totally. But she decides to write him a letter.
Really? That's huge.
Right. It's like she's breaking the cycle of secrets in her family.
Choosing honesty, even though it's hard.
Exactly. And maybe even opening the door for healing down the line.
I love that. It's a powerful message.
It really is. And then there's that image at the very end, the oak tree.
What happens to it?
Well, it gets cut down, leaves this big empty space.
Oh, wow. Like a physical representation of the loss?
Kind of, yeah. But then there's this tiny green shoot growing from the stump.
Oh, I get it. New life.
Exactly. Even after being cut down, the tree finds a way to grow again. It's resilient.
Just like Lilage.
Right. She's been through so much, but she's finding her way forward, too.
It's a beautiful ending, even though it's not all tied up in a neat bow.
Totally. Life rarely is.
Right. And that's what makes the pale flesh of wood so powerful.
Messy, complicated, but hopeful.
Exactly. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the pale flesh of wood, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been a great conversation. What moments stuck with you? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to check out the link to the book. It's in the description.
Always good to read along.
Totally. Until next time, keep exploring the stories that matter.